Hi, Gemini. Thanks for joining me for your September 2017 forecast for the month. I'm using the Aquarian Tarot by David Palladini. And also, I'm drawing one card at the end of the reading from Doreen Virtue's Angel Cards. And I'm liking them a lot in this reading. So let's get to it, because your ruling planet is still retrograde at the top of September through the 5th. Mercury will go direct on the 5th in the sign of Leo at 28 degrees. And then on the 9th of September, Mercury goes deeper into the sign, or goes direct into the sign of Virgo through the 29th. So replenishment in the 3rd house for you. And this could see details in your environment, your neighborhood environment. Your communication is now smooth sailing and moving ahead. Also, attention to detail in terms of local travel, and the connection with your siblings is moving forward. There might be some communication there that needs to happen for Gemini. From the 9th through the 29th, Mercury is giving you energy in the environment sector, and you might go over details regarding your home, possibly a move. Gemini, your 4th house is what is influenced so strongly this month. It's all about new environments. It's all about moving, relocating, really honing in on the 4 walls in which you're living in. And on the 5th, as well as Mercury going direct, you have Mars entering this sector. Stamina, energy for the home, energy to move. Having male visitors in the home. Ooh, we like that. Also giving a little bit of aggression in terms of mother. So there's a little bit of anger with Mars. In the 4th house, it could be that your relationship with your mother feels a little strained, and you might need to watch all of your words and don't be too agitated with the mother figure at that time and for the next 60 days or so. We have our full moon on the 6th at 13 degrees of Pisces in the career sector. So the opposite of the mother, which is the father. This spiritual full moon is bringing closure to the career. Some Geminis are retiring. They're changing career paths entirely. They could be finishing projects in the career sector. It's a visionary moon, which will be conjunct Neptune and affected by Chiron, the asteroid, the wounded healer. So there is completion, and some Geminis are feeling closure in terms of connection with their father figures. And for those of you who have fathers that have passed, there is an awareness in this sector. You could receive insight and all the awareness you need in that area, and perhaps from that energy as well. On the 19th, Venus enters Virgo, again, 4th house of environment, conjunct Mercury and Mars. Venus beautifying and decorating and adding value to the home. Geminis have either purchased a home or property. And for Gemini, Venus here is harmony in the environment. So where you are drawn to, it feels right to the soul connection. The 4th house of where your soul feels the best and where you deeply are rooted and deeply connect, Gemini. Following the next day on the 20th, our new moon, 27 degrees of Virgo in the 4th house of home and environment. If you haven't moved already, this is where you'd like to set your intentions on where you feel comfort. Where does Gemini feel safest? You might install new security systems at this time. Approaching the equinox on the 22nd, when the sun enters Libra, it is happy fall to you here. And in the northern hemisphere, the autumnal equinox affects the 5th house. And this is a super time for creativity, independence, entrepreneurial endeavors, happiness, being jovial, and spending a lot of time in leisure activities, sports and gambling. This is also a time to connect with the children you have for that 28-day period that the sun is in Libra. or 30-day period. On the 28th, there is an aspect I wrote down that I wanted everyone to circle the date. Jupiter, who will be conjunct the Sun in Libra, is in opposition to Uranus in Aries. And this is elevating the creative endeavor sector, your entrepreneurial endeavors, and who is helping you. The 11th house of the clubs and friendships and social circle that you're affiliated with is expanding. And Jupiter is doing the expansion in the 5th house across the wheel 180 degrees. So even though an opposition is not harmonious, the friction creates elevation in the life path, and it's in the areas of the 11th house of your goals and your friendships, and your 5th house of who's in charge, your independent businesses, and your creative abilities. So there's sudden insight this date. And with Uranus, it's a surprise. It's an internal awareness. There's a revelation on this day. Insight. You could wake up with information of what you need to do in order to implement your business, or who you need to get in place to uplift you creatively, or a goal that you might have in relationship to your children. On the 29th, the next day, Mercury moves into Libra in the 5th house, conjunct the Sun and Jupiter. Beautiful energy for people who own their own business, for mothers, and having, there could be some little boys in the mix, some pregnancies happening for Gemini. And I say boys because of all the masculine planets in the 5th house, Mercury and Jupiter. And the Sun. So for Geminis who are trying and who are of age, you could be getting some good news. And you're very fertile at the time that the Sun and Jupiter are in the 5th house. Let's see what cards come up for Gemini. And if you'd like to read with me, Gemini, now's the time to book, because I am on fire in this place. I've been reading a lot, and they're going extremely well. I'm just very happy with the location. So the information is below, audreyalison.com, where you can book with me. And if you're interested in learning more about the Tarot, please consider taking my course, The Magic of Tarot, Connecting Mind, Body, and Soul. That's also available in the Show More section. And the Vimeo on-demand September videos are up. The medium messages are available, as well as the fortune card, intuitive messages. So, Gemini, here is your first card. Yes, Ace of Rods. Yes, this is a card of yes. Passion, creativity, 5th house, action, romance, go for it. Oh, I just skip right over this. 5th house is romance and true love, and the Sun entering that sector, in addition to children and creative endeavors and opportunities, it's meeting somebody. And the Ace of Rods is an attraction. And with Jupiter in the 5th, conjunct Mercury, you could easily hear from someone that's going to be in your life as far as who you're dating, your attraction. Wow, I'll say, okay, maybe it's straight up relationship time for Gemini. The 5th house from the 22nd on could see you emotionally fulfilled and connecting in a dating scenario. Attraction and then fulfillment. 10 of Cups. Ooh, and this could be a fire sign, Gemini. King of Rods, Aries, Sag, your polar opposite, or Leo. So fire sign male around these attraction and relationship fulfillment cards. Yes, there is news coming in for Gemini. The Page of Cups is the messenger of emotional news, and someone wants to connect with you. Either they see you and they want to connect with you. Can you see that? The lighting is off. I have to fix that in this place. They see you and they want to connect with you, or there is a message that you receive. The last card, well, you don't want to get too emotionally strung out on someone, Gemini. I know you can put a lot of energy into investing in your heart's desire, but don't obsess. Don't get depressed. Don't cry over emotional issues. If you meet someone, allow it to develop naturally. Don't force squares into circles. just take it easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. And this is bound to happen. An effortless connection is really the theme of this read, and there's only one court card, and that's the King of Fire. So Gemmy, if you consider who your 7th house is consumed with in your chart, it's usually Sagittarius. If you're looking at the solar charts, if you're lucky enough to know the natal positioning, look at your 7th house and see what sign. If that's fire, that's generally the soulmate according to this, if it's fire. It's the soulmate no matter what sign it is, but in this reading it might really apply to you. So this could easily be your polar opposite, who you attract naturally, Gemmy. If it's not a Sag, it is someone extremely passionate about you. The King of Fire has the utmost passion. And do you see how this is very phallic and very sexual and has to do with physicality and attraction and sex? And he's holding that rod after this card comes up. So there is some kind of stimulation or sexual desire happening for Gemini. I do want to pull one of these angel cards and see what comes up for the theme of September for Gemmy. Ooh, okay, Vanessa. She looks like she means business. To make your decision, ask yourself, which way brings me closer to my divine purpose and which way takes me away from it? Some of you, according to Vanessa, have to choose if this partner is worth leaving another relationship for. And Gemmy, you love a damn triangle because you're used to the duality of what serves you. You might have 2 pieces on the side, and it's time for a decision. And with Mercury direct, you can make it now. And it's direct, he's direct in the 5th house at the end of the month of true love and romance. So your decision should be made. And don't get too emotionally involved in everything. Don't get in your head too much. Needless worry is what this card can represent. Worry does no one any good. It attracts more worry. So just think of it as leaving the body. When you think of something that you're worried about, black it out and force yourself to think happy thoughts or something that isn't what you're consumed with. Gemini, you can control the mind very easily. You're the first air sign. Don't forget that. You can manipulate positive thoughts into believing all of this is real. Thank you so much. I hope this was helpful. I'm wishing you a sweet September, Gemmy. And remember, the sky is limitless, so reach for the stars.